So now we're going to talk about the 4 benefits of homeownership. Control of your own domain, tax benefit, interest rate deduction program or interest rate deduction, asset appreciation, and fixed monthly payment. So these are the benefits of homeownership that we're going to talk about, some of the advantages, the benefits of these things, and articulating these to our clients. So I want to find out from y'all a little bit first. We're going to talk about this for a little bit. Control of your own domain. Let's talk about this one first. So what are some examples that you have or may know of that someone who owns their home can control their own domain, make their own decisions about living in their home? Does anybody want to give us any examples of things that they've maybe shared with anybody or experience that they've had?
Over this weekend, I was with clients who were deciding to buy or sell or buy or rent. And when we were walking around condos, I would just like point to a wall and be like, imagine if you could just like open it up. You can't do that with renting. Or what if you painted and made this look nice? And just kind of these physical examples of the things that they can do within their own house that they're not able to do with their renting.
Yes. Great. Renting versus buying is a great example on how to talk to someone about the benefits of homeownership. Imagine if you could make these decisions and do these type of things without anybody telling you can't. You can make a wrong decision on a paint color, and tomorrow you could wake up and decide to leave it for a couple of weeks, and you can redo it. You could put a hole in the wall, whatever it is. Like you can do these things, right? That's the beauty of controlling your own domain. Customization, stability, personal freedom, peace of mind, making decisions, make permanent or temporary improvements or modifications, right? Peace of mind. I think anytime that we can create the opportunity to tell somebody that we can give them peace of mind, I think that is a very helpful scenario to be in. Because a lot of folks, it's an expensive process. There's things that you want to do. There's things that you don't want to do. Peace of mind knowing that when you buy a home, you can make any decision about the home that you want, and the good thing is if you ever want to sell it, you can also sell it. You're not stuck with it. Right. So control of your own domain. There's a lot of things that people want to do. There's what I think also really understanding the personality and what these people, what your customers or clients are into, what really drives them, what moves them. If it's an artist or someone, if an interior decorator or someone, first time home buyer, like different things, people are going to key on different things, different aspects. Right. And try to understand what is it about what that person, why are they trying to buy a home, and how can controlling your own domain help that? You want a dog? You have dogs. You have kids. You want kids. You want a yard, things like that. Pets, like this is your house. You can turn this into your family legacy home, right? Or it can be your starter home. It could be just for financial benefit that you purchase this home, which we can talk about for a little while. So there's, so you can make these decisions. You don't have anybody telling you what you can and cannot do. So wouldn't it be nice knowing that you could live in your own home, at the monthly payment that you have decided is comfortable for you, and you can make all the decisions that you want on how it affects that home, right? What anybody have any examples there? Anything good or bad, like, things that maybe we'll share about controlling your own domain and how that may help someone? Things that they may have wanted to do, questions you may have had to uncover for them on things that they want to do. I mean, this goes into, well, you know what? And in the contract, there's a section for like exclusions or for objections, so that if we wanted to make sure that you can put a swimming pool in, or you can have goats, or you can put a shed in, or you can do whatever you want to do, like there's a section in the contract that we can write in to make sure you can do those things. And some people have very specific reasons that they want to buy a home and need to make sure that they can do those things. And for very specific reasons, they cannot rent, right? Are you a hobbyist with a whole bunch of cars? Are you a mechanic? Are you doing certain things? Like there's a lot of people out there that renting is really, really hard. And the alternative to buying is really hard. And they may not know about how easy it could be to buy a home. I'll get into a couple others. So tax benefit, interest rate deduction. You start with, are you aware of the tax benefits of owning a home and how much you actually can get back in your taxes every year from owning a home? The interest rate. So an example would be if you bought now you can use whole numbers. Like here, here's what I can do for you. Let me show you how I can help make this a little more convenient on your monthly payment. Make sure that you get a good monthly payment. Let's get a rate sheet from our lender, and it's going to say on there what your interest rate is. And we're going to calculate it out for a year. And that interest rate, let's call it $1,200. Let's call it $1,000 for easy math. $1,000 interest rate, or $1,000 a month is in interest, because you're paying interest up front. When you first buy a home, the first many years, you're not paying the actual $500,000 principal of your house. You're paying the interest on the mortgage. So up front for the first several years, your interest rate is higher than your mortgage payment. So if you calculate it, so $1,000 this year, in 3 years, your interest rate may be less. But this year, you got $12,000 in interest that you're paying. Wouldn't you like to be able to write that off at the end of the year? Did you know you can write that off at the end of the year? So I know you're planning on your monthly payment right now being as low as possible, but did you expect that you'd be able to have a deduction of $12,000 minus all these other things that you may have from owning a home, right? So that is huge. Now, I did this personally. I was like, the people that are looking at their DTI and like, okay, your DTI is a certain amount of money, meaning the bank says you can afford a home or you can't afford a home based on your debt to income. And if it's too high, you have too much debt, you can't, they're just saying, no, you can't buy a home at that price, or you gotta dwindle it down. So if someone's really looking at their monthly payment, okay, my monthly payment is $4,000 a month times 12, $48,000, but I get to write off $12,000. How much is that saving me in taxes? There's an actual dollar amount to that. So it throws off. I know you're looking for the lowest monthly payment, and this is the lowest monthly payment you're going to get for this house at this price, at this interest rate, yada, 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 in this market today. And you get to write off 100% of your interest rate at the end of the year. And most people don't know how much that actually is. And so your $4,000 a month, $12,000 reduction in taxes, arguably maybe it's $3,000 a month. Did you know you're actually paying $3,000 a month? You just got to file your taxes. Do you file your taxes on time? Do you need a CPA recommendation to make sure you get all these tax benefits? Because if you're self-employed and you've got this business and you're doing these things, you're going to get a whole lot of other deductions. This house is not going to cost you as much as you think. Did you know that? The key script moment is that you have to be able to articulate this clearly and concisely, meaning clearly, short, and to the point, right? Did you know that you can save thousands and thousands of dollars every year buying home on your from applying this to your taxes? Well, what do you mean? Well, the interest rate that you pay on your house, I can find out exactly how much that's going to be over the course of a year. It could be between $8,000 and $10,000 or so, whatever it is. That's tax deductible. If you're self-employed, any improvements that you do on the property, any services like lawn care, pest care, whatever it is, that's all tax deductible as well. Did you know that? Would you like for me to explain more? Would you like to find out what homes might fit your needs? So right into it, right? Asset appreciation. I'm thinking about how to use this as a question so that you can add that value to them, right? One thing would be like, I would maybe ask, so if someone were to buy a home this year, do you think that home would be worth more or less in 10 years? More. Okay. So when you buy a home, there may be a year or a time that it dips, but generally speaking, if someone were to buy a home today, you go over the course of 10 years, that asset, that home is going to appreciate. It's going to be worth more money than it is today, and it's going to compound. So purchasing a car is a depreciating asset. As soon as you drive that car off the car lot, is that car worth more money or less money? Right? So in 10 years, if you have this car, do you think your car is going to be worth more or less? Less, right? So the difference is you're going to buy a car, you're going to use it every single day, you're going to beat it up, and it's going to be worth less, and you're going to have a hard time selling it if you beat the shit out of it over the course of 10 years. Good luck. And you can keep it in pristine condition, and you can retune it and do all the things, and you're still not going to be able to sell it for more than you bought it. Even if you we're not talking about an old classic car here, but let's say you bought a Highlander, whatever it is, right? Like you're not gonna be able to rebuild that thing and sell it for what you got. I don't care how good it looks. I mean, it's crazy, right? A home, not only is it appreciating, it's going up, the value is raising over time, but there are improvements that you can do that can increase that faster. And if you ever wanted to sell it, you may be able to get more money faster than 10 years if you did certain type of improvements, right? So asset appreciation is a way of building wealth. You're living in a bank. Anybody that bought a home prior to the pandemic is sitting in a bank. That bank just made them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now it's up to those owners to not spend all their money and go upside down, because like the house is going to be worth more in 10 years, but right now in some areas they're worth less than what they are. It is going to correct. Those people that bought the house pre-pandemic or during the pandemic, they may have paid over market value during that time, and they may be upside down in their home right now, but in 10 years from now, they're going to be in a good spot. It's making sure that they have a plan in place to keep it. And if they need to sell it, understanding what's going to happen if they need to sell and how that, understand where that asset has depreciated. So one of the things that I can do for you during my investigative research here is to figure out some market trends on how much we think this home in this area may appreciate over time. Because like next door over here, like values are dropping. Like, so you got to do some market data, some research here, run some comps, figure out some historical data, forecast a couple things, right? You're in an area that homes have historically held value. Well, I'm going to rely on the data that I have from 27 years going that this area of 800 to $1.1 million homes is going to steadfast hold pretty well, and it's going to continue to rise. So also making this painful for them is going to help. Like understanding that if you don't buy this home today, it's going to cost you more money tomorrow. I know you want to wait. How long do you want to wait? I want to wait a year or two. In 2 years, do you think it's going to be more expensive or less expensive to purchase a home that you're looking for in this area? Well, I think it's going to be less expensive. Okay, well, let's talk about that. What factors do you think is going to happen over the next 2 years that's going to make prices go down? I'm not arguing with Leland. I'm pretending like I'm role playing with Leland. I'm not arguing. What do you think the market's going to great? Okay, the market's going to crash. Okay, so if the market crashes in 2 years, you're going to be ready to buy a home, right? Okay, so when the market crashes in 2 years and you're ready to buy a home, what do you think everybody else who's sitting on the fence waiting for the market to crash is going to do? Everyone else is going to want to buy a home too. And do you think it's going to make it easier or harder for you to buy a home? It's going to be harder. Do you think it's going to cost you more money or less money to buy a home if it's harder? It's going to cost you more money. So what you want to do is you want to not buy a home now. You want to wait for 2 years for the market to crash, for more people to be interested, for it to be harder and still cost you as much or more money as it is to buy a home today. Is that what you want to do? Okay, cool. Now, look, I just want you to know, I'm not here to convince you to buy a home today. And I'm not even going to convince you to buy real estate or work with me. I just feel like most people find it helpful after sitting down with me for 30 or 45 minutes and go over what the process looks like. At least you'll be 100% prepared and ready to go no matter what happens. So if the market tanks in your area or something happens for you personally that makes it a little bit easier for you to buy a home, you're completely ready to buy a home. You don't have to wait till it gets harder and more expensive. Do you think that'd make it a little bit easier for you?
Yes.
Would you be willing to meet with me for a little while and go over what that looks like?
Yes.
Okay. So how about let's set an appointment, right? It's all about setting an appointment. Yeah, I'm going to have that conversation. Cool. I'm going to do this dance with you. I don't care. What do you want to do? I just don't want it to take forever, right? But eventually we're going to get down to some things. And if we're just going to butt heads forever, okay, then this is someone who is legit just going to stick their head in the ground and wait. Okay, fine. I'm going to call someone else. I'm going to try to convince someone else who's not that thick-headed that's going to stick their head in the ground, right? If you don't ask questions, have that conversation, you don't know how to get there, right? There's ways to offset that. Do you know self-employed people hire their kids to be able to write things off? Do you know that people actually buy?
Pay my kid an LLC when he turned 12.
Right? Well, hey, the asset appreciation is so huge that we have parents buying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property in college towns and renting it to their kids and their friends.
I do that.
Joey does that. I'm like, I can't wait till my kid, I'm like, where should I buy a place? I don't know where my kid's going to go to school, but I can't wait till I'm like,
If you wait, do you think it's going to be more?
it's going to, so I need my 10-year-old to decide where she's going to go to school so I can buy a place there and get the asset appreciation. Right. But that's the thing. Like, yeah. Well, I mean, have you ever heard of investors renting out a property? Have you ever heard of anybody renting a home? I rented. How many of y'all have rented a home before?
Yeah.
You're renting right now, right? Do you know why you're renting that house?
And I don't have the money to buy it.
You don't have the money to buy it yet?
Yeah.
Because it's an appreciating asset for that owner. The owner knows if they can keep that property and have someone in there paying a portion of their bills, they don't even have to pay 100% of the bills because it's appreciating. Like, let's say, okay, so if I bought a house today that's worth $500,000 and it's in appreciation, it's going to be worth $540 in a year. Let's say it's going to be worth $540 in 2 years, and rent is $2,000 a month. That's $2,400 a year, right? $24,000 a year, but that's $20,000 in appreciation. So in 2 years, this is an offsetting variable. So 2 years, your rent was $48,000. Your appreciation was only $40,000. Maybe that's a bummer, but guess what? All these tax benefits are now in place as well. So this is why, like, the long-term wealth really plays in. Buy as many of these places. We are making payments into someone else's bank. That $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house that we live in, we're paying it for that person that owns that appreciating asset. The reason we're paying it because that person was able to get in sooner than us and have more money than us at the time that they bought it. And they're holding on to it because they are smarter than me and have more wealth than I do. Maybe they have more than one of you. It's a gimmick. They're going to have more than one rental property, building wealth, sons of bitches. They're going to have multiple properties. Asset appreciation is so huge. They rely on it. A to-do for all of you, a helpful to-do is, and we can surface this. I know it's in our investment certified course. There's a pro forma. You fill in the purchase price, rent, tax, all the jazz, period of time, improvements, whatever it is, and it will calculate what that, the input of that property. Like, oh, if you held this property for 5 years and you rented it out for this, long-term appreciation, this and that and the other, putting 20% down in Austin for these things, I'm going to show you're upside down. In Austin, if you put 40% down, maybe you'll cash flow, maybe not. But long-term, you'll see tax benefits, asset appreciation. You're not cash flowing every single month right now, and you're not going to cash flow every single month. But the reason you're buying this home is the same reason everybody's renting these homes, is because asset appreciation, tax benefits. If you can park your money in an appreciating asset, this is a bank. You're parking in this bank. Or you can go to Chase Bank and you put it over there and you can make no money. Or you can put it over here and you can potentially make 10, 15, 20% over the next several years. How's that sound? Right? So people that invest in real estate are adding to their wealth portfolio. So I know we're talking about just this is your home. That's why I want to help make this the most affordable, easiest possible process for you. Talking to my lender, having a conversation with them, competing for lenders to get your rate down. All of these things are going to help make your home buying experience the best it can be. And you can appreciate what it is to own a home. And hopefully you're going to want to own more homes when you can see how you're living in your bank. Right? As long as you can afford your monthly base payment, you talk to the lender, your debt to income, they'll handle all that stuff with you, make sure you're comfortable. And don't go buy a car between now and, trying to buy a house. Right? So asset appreciation is huge. So again, expand your mindset when y'all are in the field, when you're talking to people, when you're getting objections from people. Why are you getting those objections? Mm-hmm. What are you saying? What are you asking? What are you doing to be able to get through those objections in a way that's helpful and moves those people forward? Remember, sales is a series of questions. So when all else fails, pause and formulate a question Okay. Don't just defend your value, defend. Find a question of curiosity. Carry that conversation forward. So we covered asset appreciation. Huge. Everything is built on land. We control it in real estate. Fixed monthly payment. Morgan, bless you, when does your lease expire? April 30th of next year. Do you know, is your lease going to increase or decrease?
I will make it stay the same.
Okay, so it's going to stay the same. You have that option? Okay, good. So how does it feel to have a monthly payment that you know is not going to change? Fabulous, right? Okay. So how long do you think you're going to be living in that house for rent before your rent changes?
Probably another year.
Another year? Okay. So a year. Okay, so then when your rent is going to change, you think it's going to go up or going to go down? Darn, it's going to go up. I was hoping you say down. Okay. So what are you going to do when your rent goes up? Are you going to stay there and pay that increased rent, or are you going to look for a new place? Look for a new place. Okay. So if your rent's going to increase, so are you going to look for a new place at the same rent you're paying now, or try to keep your payment the same? Okay. And what type of places do you think you're going to find? And so if we're talking a year and a half from now, you're going to try to find a place that your rent is exactly the same as it is now. What type of places do you think you're going to find?
Not the best one.
Not the best ones. Why do you say that?
Because rent everywhere is going to go up.
Rent everywhere is going to go up. Make it harder. You're in a good spot. Okay. So would you be open-minded to talking to someone to figure out if in a year and a half from now, if you're going to end up having to pay more money for a place to rent, would you be open-minded to having a conversation with somebody who might be able to tell you if you could buy a home or not?
Yeah.
You would? Okay, great. And then I would go set an appointment. But you see, I had a conversation, like, it's your journey. I don't know what's going to happen, right? But I know that I'm going to check in with you in 6 months before from time to time. So it's like, what's going to happen next? What kind of plans do you want to make? I'm not making a decision for you, right? And that's what the questions are. Like, how can I ask questions to help us get to where you want to go, right? And that was around a fixed monthly payment. That whole thing was on a fixed monthly payment. And because eventually your payment's going to change. So the beauty of purchasing a home, and how would you feel if you were to buy a home that you like? I mean, first of all, if you were to buy a home, that's fantastic. And most people buy a home with a monthly payment that they're comfortable with, and it doesn't change. And you can keep that monthly payment forever, or sometimes they actually refinance and they get that payment down. How does that sound to you? A-okay, right? So also, most people feel as if they aren't qualified to buy a home, or they think that they're not qualified for credit or down payment or lots of different reasons. What if I told you that most people actually qualify for buying a home that didn't realize they could? And then we just have to put together a plan to make that happen. And the good news is we've got a year and a half. So if you were to start now, knowing that you've got a year and a half to prepare, I know that I can make your home shopping experience easy and affordable. We've got a year and a half. Plenty of time to plan. By the way, most people that have the best experience buying a home, they prepare and plan way ahead of time. They're working with an agent that's going to deliver them all these things. They have a really easy process. They're talking to a mortgage lender. I'm not saying you have to go get pre-approved right now. They do like soft credit pulls to just get an idea and to give us an idea of what type of things we should work on over the course of the next 6 months to a year. Should you pay down a credit card? Do you pay this off? Do you need to get a new credit card, a trade line or something like that to build up your credit? They may tell us today that you can't buy a house in a year. You got to wait 3 years for whatever reason. And well, now you got to plan for 3 years. So fixed monthly payment, predictable in budgeting. I mean, everything boils around our monthly payment, the decisions we make, where we go, what growth, when we buy stuff, like what vacations we take, gifts that we do. Like everything we do revolves around how much money it's going to cost us. And most of the time, it's a monthly payment that can I afford it based on my monthly payment? So if I can get you into a monthly payment that you're comfortable with, that's not going to change, that's going to allow you to possibly diversify your wealth options. Because now you're not worried about how much you're going to spend every single month on this appreciating asset. I've already showed you, like, this is going to appreciate. You have a minimum expense for this appreciating asset. Now your job is to build off of that, right? And we can figure out how to get you more properties. Fix like this month. What if you were to hold this property for 10 years at this monthly payment? You got a couple $100,000 equity. You could actually go buy another home, keep this home. Someone can rent it out, and you're sitting on a property with a couple $100,000, and somebody's renting it out from you, and you never had to get rid of it. And now you have a property that you can leave for your family or your legacy or somewhere else. And you talk about retirement or portfolio or wealth building opportunities. So, that's one of my pieces of advice is to sell a house. When's the best time to sell a house? Is never. If you don't have to sell a house, keep it. It's just going to make more money for you. So it's, why do you need to sell this house? What are you going to do with that, with the money you make possibly, or if you're not making any money? I totally get it. So what about fixed monthly payment? What are some ways that you guys have used monthly payment to talk about monthly payment and fixed monthly payment and affordability to help your people out? Okay. Hard facts on what those differentials are, to me, means this is hard facts. I've got this rate sheet showing what this price is and how it breaks down. And I've got this one to line up right next to it, or they can be on spreadsheets side by side. But if y'all are not having these kind of exercises with your client, one, you either don't know how to. You need to get with the lender, you get with me, or two, you just don't get in those scenarios, and you should be putting yourself in those scenarios every single time. Like, the clients need to know. This is like, why would you tell them something if you can show them, hey, here are two examples of how we could buy the same house. Now, this also goes to a good deal and how you can demonstrate how you are getting a good deal. Well, let me show you. Same house, 510 versus 490. Which one is an easier scenario for you to digest, type of thing, right? So think through scenarios that you have, or make up a scenario that you know has happened, or pretty much every scenario has happened. So just make it up as to how your lender and rate sheets and working this scenario out can prove and demonstrate how a good deal is going to happen. Like, how can you negotiate? Show them how are things negotiated on how a good deal is going to happen. Like, we hear about this on the huddle, right? Take a few bullet points of the huddle. There was, well, maybe multiple offer scenarios, but like, what are we hearing negotiate? Well, we're hearing every day houses are being negotiated, properties on the market, they're dropping their prices, price corrections. There's all kinds of, here's how we negotiate to help people win. First of all, we got a process in which we know that if we send offers over, we communicate things like that. But also, here's how I can negotiate. Here's some loan rate sheets. Here's a couple ways for you to know that you're getting a good deal. So I'm going to go negotiate my best for you to get all this down. Also know I'm negotiating with our lender to get this down. Like, we're all in the same team here. It's not like bad blood is being spilled because our lender and I are working together. I've always said there are three, and I said this a lot of times, that there are three main people involved in this real estate transaction. Three of us. We have to work in harmony together. There is you, the buyer, me, the agent, and the lender. And I need to know everything that the lender is doing. Now, I also am a numbers wizard when it comes to what happens with the lender and the world that they live in. If y'all aren't, it's going to take time to get there, but you need to know, like, the lender is going to make or break your business. And you need to know what the lender's doing and how those things are happening. Like, I know a lot of the lending world, but I also know that's not my job. I'm going to tee it up to how I need to get there and let the lender do their job, because I can't do anything else. Even if I talk about rates and programs and all that jazz, that's not going to make a difference. It's when the rubber hits the road and the numbers are on paper, those cold hard facts that we can show them. So get a test run. Just for a practice run, you're out showing a property to a buyer. Great. I mean, it can be even a wet test run, meaning that you've actually got a buyer and you're working with a lender, and the lender doesn't mind. Trust me, send me a rate sheet with this, that, and the other. If I was buying a house today, Nasi knows I shopped him with two different lenders, and I said, I need 5 scenarios, because it's very complicated when you're a real estate agent, not collecting commissions and fees and all that jazz, trying to structure an offer, and you want to have any type of contingencies or any concessions in place. It's hard. It takes me like a day to formulate an offer with all the stuff that I got to figure out with the lender, the numbers, all that jazz. So, like, buying home, is not easy, y'all. And it's not easy for your client. And we have to help make them feel like it's easy. They have to feel like it's easy. And when we understand what they want and we know what the benefits are, and we can articulate those and explain to them those when they need it at the right time with the right dynamic, that's going to really help carry the conversation and your client further towards the finish line, towards the closing, right? Look, obviously, with my experience, I've got scenarios that don't come up that often when you're doing the business for so long. But there comes a time where, like, it may be if you've got all the numbers where they need to be and you're under contract or trying to negotiate out, like, we are at the end of our rope. What can we do? And there is empathy. Yeah. Empathy, y'all, comes from the other side. If you got the right buyer, we got the right agent, we've got the right demeanor, we've got the right easy to work with demeanor, right? And all we need to do is figure out to the tune of a few $1,000s here or there because we're all strapped. People do it. People will get it done. You know, you're going to have someone that's going to be hard-nosed maybe here or there, like, no, we're out of here, forget about it. But like, you put that much into it and people are really willing to work together, and just comes down to a matter of dollars and cents, a little bit. People will make decisions that surprise you. Like, okay, people accept offers from letters to sellers, right? Like the highest and best offer, the highest offer doesn't always win. It's the best offer that wins, right? And let me explain, if you want to understand how to get the best deal and how I can win you a home without having to pay the highest price, would you be open-minded meeting with me for 30 minutes to figure out and show you how that works, show you how I do that, how we do that? There are a lot of terms to the offer. The price is just one. But if we miss these other terms, the price doesn't even matter. The price could probably be the last thing we talk about. Let's figure out all these other terms. How long do we need to inspect the house? What in the world is going on in this place? How long do we need? You need 2 weeks because you're going out of town to London and you want to get this $50,000 off their list price? You're crazy. Like, there's a difference here. You want to, wait, you want a 14-day? Well, I got to explain to you, taking the house off the market for 14 days in a competitive, maybe not right now, in competitive environment, the seller is probably going to want fewer days for option to make sure that you don't cancel after 10 days. So what type of things about this property do we want? What are our concerns that we want to pay most attention to? So when I do get an inspector out here and I do have the report back, I can respond quickly with the things that I know are already of important demand or importance for you. What is that? I know you have the roof, the mechanicals, electrical. Is there water or something going on? Cool. I understand all these things. Today is day 1 or 2, or we're not even under contract yet, but do we need 14 days? I can have an inspector here in 3 or 4 days, get a report back in 3 or 4 days, and communicate everything back and forth. If I need to get a roofer, by the time I get the report, I can get a roofer. If you're okay with paying for a roofer to come out here, I can go ahead and get a roofer out here. If you're okay with paying for an electrician to come out here, I can go ahead and get an electrician out here. I don't have to wait to do the inspection to get these people out here. I know when I buy a home, I'm not waiting on the inspection report to get an electrician out there. I've got a Tesla. I got to hook it up. I got other things I want to make sure happen. I'm going to pay the $300 during my option period. If I'm going under contract on a home, it is worth the investment to me to get an electrician over here and make sure that I am doing everything the right way possible for when I move in and I have these demands for certain things that I want to get done. Right. So it's an investment. A roofer, they may charge $150. Electrician's going to charge a little bit of money. I may be able to get some contractors over here for free, but most people don't work for free. I can get them over here quickly, but not free. Right. So do we need 14 days? Or can we get this done in 7 or 10 and I can negotiate? Now I can probably get you the price that you want. If you're going to go to London, let's lock up this property. You're going to be going there's ways to lock it up, figure this thing out as long as we secure the asset first and we don't mess around with the terms. Because that price and you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, that's just going to blow the deal up now. You want 14 days option period and you're $50,000 less. I don't know that now, okay, if they're demanding, so here's the other thing, if they're demanding that, you got to do it, then it's speed. Speed to get that offer in and over and start negotiating before someone else does. Because I'm not saying you can't get it for $50,000 off or for 14 days for option period. I'm just saying when we send that over, they're going to start thinking about it. And if anybody else starts to communicate with them while they're thinking about our offer, we lose. Because now they're going to think, oh, they're going to counter us back. We may get another offer in. Next thing you know, we could be in a multiple offer situation because we didn't act fast enough. So the alternative to great terms and pricing to get a good deal is the speed in which we deliver the offer and how well we communicate and still convenient and easy to work with. But the speed in which you get that over to start communicating and negotiating, that's the other element that wins. Someone that's I will take speed over accuracy and going to get it done almost every time, because we can work it out. You got my offer. What happens next is what matters. You got my offer. Let's stay in touch. What's going on? How do we work this out? I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give that seller an open scenario to get another offer in or other conversation in.